Constitution.
Come ride a little train going down the track at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. There's old Uncle Joe moving kind of slow at the junction. Woo, woo! Very cool junction. I will return.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
Heavy congestion still developing eastbound on I-10. We've got an accident in the left lane now, approaching Virginia Street in Mobile. And as you make your way across the Bayway, from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, add an extra 20 minutes of drive time. And it's slow on the Foley Beach Express from Highway 59 to Canal Road, a 24-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by The Rogue Recap with Linda McLaughlin.
Hey, if you're looking for news you can't get anywhere else, then you're a lot like me. I started The Rogue Recap because I wanted to talk about things I just wasn't hearing. So join me on my podcast, Rogue Recap with Linda McLaughlin, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Can't wait to see you there.
If you see traffic trouble, call the Acadian Windows traffic tip line at pound 250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
Now, your chance to win $2,500. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. TRIP. That's TRIP. Enter it now at newsradio710.com. The Uncle Henry Show. Weekday afternoons from 5 till 7.
Received Friday at 5:00 p.m.
Woo-hoo! 3 more days of the Monday! You gotta make it the best of life while you're young.
Press 4 for the message deleted.
Wonderful town, wonderful people, places to go, things to see. My love is Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Beautiful homes, schools and churches, entertainment, places to shop. My heart's in Mobile, that's my wonderful town. Mobile, the center of transportation, business and industry set the pace. Mobile's got the Junior Miss celebration, home of Mardi Gras and Senior Bowl game.
Mobile is great to live in and work in.
The climate's ideal for progress you see. My love is Mobile, that's my wonderful town.
Roll Tide, roll, Uncle Henry!
It says the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. Thank you so much again for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. And if you're listening right now for the first time, due to a mistake, accidentally listening to this, whatever it is, thank you for finally showing up. I think things may go even better now that you're listening. Once again, here we are together, just me and you. Just the two of us here trying to figure out what's going on. What is going on? Are all the politicians, are they ripping us off? Or are they just stupid? What's going on? If you would like to call, this is a show where there is interaction. If you can operate a telephonic device, if you have the ability to use a telephonic device, To place a telephone call, you can reach the show and interact with it. The telephone numerals are 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. And I do enjoy the old-fashioned electronic mail messages. 251-479-2723, the telephone number here on the Uncle Henry Show. It's a Friday. It's become one of them days now, especially during this time of the year when it's beach season, that you may notice that the roads, many of the highways that we like to travel on along the Gulf Coast, especially Friday evenings, Friday afternoons, kind of get clogged up. Have you noticed this? High volume of traffic, not enough roads. If you get stuck in traffic, if you're going real slow trying to get through the Wallace tunnels or something like that, going real slow trying to get onto the causeway or something like that, wherever you might be, whatever you might be clogged up in, traffic-wise, just realize that the reason that you're stuck in the traffic is because the politicians of 20 and 30 years ago they just didn't plan properly. They didn't. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they were bad at all. I'm just saying they just didn't plan. They were, who knows, maybe a lobbyist. Maybe there was a lobbyist grilling out. Said, hey, forget that legislation. Come on over here. We're grilling out. Come on over here. Things like that. They were just being nice and having some fun with some lobbyists, grilling out, doing whatever they were doing. Maybe finding out that they could allocate money for who knows what, but they weren't doing the proper planning. Whenever you're clogged up in the traffic, whether it's on the Bayway, interstate, other major roads around here, when that happens, it's because the politicians of 20 and 30 years ago, they just didn't plan. They just didn't plan. They just did not plan properly. And I bring that up because I've been stuck in traffic a lot lately. And I've been thinking about it. And I bring it up just to remind you that when there's voting times, I believe there'll be some voting later this year. I know we got another primary coming up, and then we're going to have some voting in November. Whenever you're voting, try to pick people that are smart enough that'll plan for this kind of stuff in the future. Because it does matter. Don't vote for them just because they're nice. Oh, they're nice, and they say things I like. Make sure that they're smart enough to plan for the future. You know, for example, the politicians that are over in Baldwin County right now, one of the fastest growing spots in the United States of America, according to the census, is Baldwin County. Just people keep flooding in there, wanting to move in there. That means that the politicians, they need to be planning. That their top priority ought to be planning for roads. They need to be They need to be planning. That's all they need to be do, is planning for roads and whatever else they need to do to accept all these people. That's just all. Look, I know that this is the obvious. It's obvious to us now. It wasn't obvious to the politicians 20 and 30 years ago, obviously. Because they just, for whatever reason, you get stuck on a road. They were 20 or 30 years ago, they were thinking about some big road building plan, but really, you know, the such and such lobbyist is such a nice guy, and he and his wife are in town, and they've invited us out. We're going to have a good time. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having an enjoyable relationship with your lobbyists and enjoying having dinner with them and all this kind of stuff. But you really need to work. You need to work and plan some roads. That's why I was delighted when the Mobile City Council earlier this year, we found out that they're doing all kind of paving. Thank the Lord. But they need to be working on that 24 hours a day. Need to be thinking about drainage 24 hours a day. That's what these politicians need to be doing. Not thinking about, hey, somebody's throwing a special picnic next week. Let's make a plan to go. Forget that. Work on the roads. Please work on the roads. All right, now coming up, I've got a bunch of junk to talk about. I have some Friday-type topics for you. Not as I know the fact that the politicians did not plan properly and now you're stuck in traffic. That's not a fun topic unless you could retroactively punish them politicians, and that'll never happen. But we'll get into some other nice topics and voicemails as the Uncle Henry Show proceeds here on this Friday, this beautiful Friday in South Alabama.
From the Spring Hill Toyota Traffic Center.
You're traveling north on I-110. Watch for a crash between East Cervantes and Chase Street. Use caution in the area. Also, we've got an accident in the left lane, I-10 eastbound approaching Virginia Street. Heading from I-65 to the Eastern Shore on the Bayway, it's a 30-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report.
All right, Lisa Baque sounding cheerful on a Friday. All right, if there's anybody watching on YouTube, I'm about to activate the YouTube on my desktop and see who would spend a Friday evening looking at this. It's a good question. Are people in the mood on a Friday evening to have a talk show? Maybe we need to turn the Friday Uncle Henry Show into something else. Maybe I need to just go out and interview a bunch of, I don't know, just have a bunch of people lined up to, I don't even know. I don't know what a Friday type of show should be, really, in modern America. Maybe just to interview experts on THC seltzers and have them in here talking about that. Something like that. All right, let me see. I've activated the desktop. Oh, and there is. Some people are watching on a Friday. What a shocker. 69-year-old Chris of West Loxley. JD, the Tracy Lawrence, Gary Allen, Diamond Rio concert. I was quite surprised. We have gotten so many people have reached out to KSJ about that concert. People are fond of that music from the 90s and the early 2000s. Hello to Nelson Dorgang. Friday night dance party. You know, Nelson, I was thinking maybe I could get like knife-throwing Steve. Maybe I could just go record him singing a bunch of stuff and play that on Fridays. Sharon of Fairhope, hello to you. Bama Big Man. Chris Cook. Texas, Louisiana tags. Look, they're headed to the beauty of South Alabama and Florida. Then when they drive through to get to the beaches, they notice, this Baldwin County, not too shabby. Maybe we should move here. Hello to Excalibur One Force. Larry Morting. Thank you, Larry Morting, for looking in on the program. I appreciate it very much. All right, let's see. What can I tell you? Is there anything I can tell you about? I don't think I looked at the weird news yet today. That's always where I like to go first because actually, to me, all news seems weird these days. We're in such a weird time nationally. Okay, here's a story from People magazine, which I guess is now a website. Let's see. The lead singer of this horrible rock band Poison is named Bret Michaels. And his daughter, Rain Michaels, has been selling pictures of her feet. on a website, and the People magazine website is reporting that the lead singer of Poison think it's a brilliant, this is a quote, brilliant decision on his daughter's part to sell pictures of her feet on a website. See, that's where we are in modern America. This is just, you know, I don't know if we're at Gomorrah level. I think we're probably halfway between Sodom and Gomorrah. I think we've already got the Sodom figured out, and I think we're getting closer to Gomorrah. It's kind of, news stories like this make me want to move far away from any type of biblical judgment that might be brought down on the country.
Free iHeartRadio app today.
This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Happy Friday to you. If you're one of those people that celebrates certain days of the week, if you let your life be ruled by a calendar, if you're calendarically ruled, and that you love Fridays and you hate Mondays and have all these weird emotional connections to the days of the week, if you're one of those people, happy Friday to you. Telephone number here, 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. I got voicemails to get to. If you call, of course, I'll take your call. I got voicemails to get to. Before I get to anything else, though, there was a news item that I didn't get to it this week. I had it ready to go, but I didn't get to it. And I just don't want this occasion to go unmarked on the Uncle Henry Show. And that is that this week, something happened in the state of Alabama that I thought would never happen in my lifetime. And that is that this week, they had the first ever legal sale of the devil's lettuce, marijuana. Yes, the very first legal sale of marijuana was made this week in the state of Alabama under the medical marijuana laws. I've got the story. This didn't happen locally because you would have probably been to some marijuana parade or something. Because we like parades down here. This happened up in Montgomery. So let's listen together. This is a brief story about Alabama having its first ever legal sale of wacky weed.
The first medical marijuana purchase in our state's history happened today in Montgomery.
I believe that was Wednesday.
It's been over 5 years since the industry was legalized.
It took 5 years. It took Alabama 5 years. Alabama wrote the law, and then it took them 5 years to figure out how to implement it.
WSFA 12 News reporter Simon Schuessler was there when it happened.
You're watching what was the first ever state-sanctioned medical marijuana purchase in Alabama.
Now, and I'm sorry, radio, we still haven't figured out how to put pictures out. So you're not able to see the video. I apologize for that. We're still working on it. We may eventually get to pictures in the radio, but what you're missing is a blonde-headed lady. She looks middle-aged, blonde-haired lady going into a store, not a darkened alley or wherever. I don't know where people buy their wacky weed, but it was not a darkened alley behind a bar with bikers or anything like that. It was a storefront.
It was made by Amanda Taylor, who drove 2 hours from Coleman.
2 hours? They applauded her buying her medical marijuana.
This is a historic day for the patients.
She previously left Alabama because the state didn't offer a program like this, calling herself a medical refugee. Now that it's legal in the state, Taylor believes many people with chronic illnesses who can benefit from medical marijuana will return to Alabama like she did.
All right, now before she tells us this, the idea that, oh, they've legalized medical marijuana, I should move to Alabama. We need to first check, did they do that? Did that happen in Mississippi? Because they've got it over there in Mississippi. Have people moved to Mississippi simply because they need to get medical marijuana? Because there are other places, no offense to Mississippi and Alabama, but there are many other places with the medical marijuana that might have more amenities.
It will bring citizens back to the state of Alabama. I believe that there is going to be a lot more patients than anticipated.
Taylor says she needs cannabis because she has multiple sclerosis and pharmaceuticals don't work as well.
I will be able to remove some very dangerous pharmaceuticals, and I will be able to replace them with something that God put on this earth for this specific reason, because our bodies have the cannabinoid receptors.
All right, and by the way, you didn't ask, but I don't mind this at all. If somebody has a condition like MS and they can get helped by this, I had no problem with it at all. I have no problem with it at all. And I've told you before on the program that somebody I know went through a very difficult terminal illness with cancer. And it was one of the only things that would allow this person to have some comfort in their final days. So I have no problem with people that are really sick getting something like this if they're really sick.
And with dispensaries now starting to pop up, Taylor feels that will not only increase access, but also reduce the stigma of marijuana use.
Once people see the results and see the difference that it makes, and that it's not about getting high, and how you can function and be a productive member of society, there's no shame in that.
Now, again, she says it's not about getting high. And credit to the Alabama legislature. They wrote the legislation to make it very difficult for a person to enjoy the actual medical marijuana. You can't, they don't let you smoke it. No, you can't buy it and smoke it. There ain't going to be people partying with it like that. I think they've only got like one flavor for the stuff you can eat. They have it like in pill form and stuff like that. So they've tried to take every bit of possible enjoyment from it, because it's Alabama.
This is medicine.
Yeah, the purchase happened at Callie's Apothecary, which is located off Atlanta Highway. Today was their soft launch. They'll have a grand opening tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Right now, patients across the state will have to travel to Montgomery, but several other dispensaries are expected to open statewide before the end of the summer. And if you're wondering what that first purchase was,
what was it?
Taylor got a tincture bottle and a pack of gel cubes, which are similar to a gummy. Val.
All right, thanks a lot, Simon. And you must receive a recommendation from a certified physician that's registered with the State Cannabis Commission to receive a medical cannabis card.
So she didn't get gummies, she got cubes, special gelatinous cubes, because a gummy might be enjoyable. They don't want you to enjoy it. You heard her say it's medicine. So instead of a gummy, the state of Alabama mandating that it be in an unenjoyable gelatinous cube form. Very difficult to enjoy cubes if you're trying to party. That's what I've been told. I've never tried to party with a cube. Back with more Uncle Henry Show after the news break.
Time saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
If you're traveling north on I-110, watch for congestion due to a crash in the right lane near East Cervantes Street. We also still have a crash in the left lane, I-10 eastbound approaching Virginia Street in Mobile. And once you get on the Bayway from I-65 to the Eastern Shore, it's a 29-minute drive. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by Discover. When you hear a good deal, it's natural to...
One of my coworkers just texted me a photo of them and their family in a car with a dog with no caption. And I don't know what... This texting has gotten out of hand.
250, keyword total traffic when prompted. Acadian Windows, your hurricane protection specialists.
A Faith Academy guidance counselor found guilty by a jury of failing to report possible sexual abuse by a coach. The decision against Carrie Meredith affirming the judgment of a Mobile County District Court judge in 2024. Testimony shows the student at Faith Academy reported in 2023 that another student had told her a third student had pictures of a teacher and coach, Jonathan Sowers, on her phone. He's been charged with sexual abuse of a student and will go to trial later this year. Shipbuilder Austal USA has officially opened a new submarine expansion. It's a grand opening of Phase 1 of Manufacturing Facility 3, expected to create up to 1,000 new high-paying jobs. Columbia-class ballistic submarines will be produced at the Mobile shipyards. U.S. News and World Report ranks top places to live in Alabama. Hoover at number 1, followed by Daphne, Decatur, and Dothan. I'm Angie Norvell.
An update on the mass shooting in Birmingham. 2 people have now died and 5 others are injured. It happened on the west side of the city during what's being described as a very large gathering. Birmingham Police Department spokesperson Darrell Freeman says officers responded to a call of multiple shots fired and they found at least 30 shell casings at the scene.
When officers arrived on scene, they observed at least 7 individuals suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. Birmingham Fire and Rescue arrived on scene, transported those individuals to the hospital.
No suspects arrested at this point. A new endorsement in the race for Lieutenant Governor. Birmingham Stallions coach A.J. McCarron throwing his support to former state GOP chairman John Wall. The Alabama football legend says the state needs a conservative fighter, not another career politician. McCarron briefly campaigned for that office before stepping away from the race. I'm Leah Brandon.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. There's a roundtable discussion on American agriculture in Wisconsin today with President Trump there saying the war with Iran is largely finished.
One way or the other it's finished. It's either finished with a piece of paper or finished a more difficult way, although you could say a much easier way.
No deal's been signed. The president described the conflict as putting out a fire. The Senate passing a $69.5 billion budget reconciliation package to fund immigration enforcement operations through 2029.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 47. This bill, as amended, is passed.
Republican leaders hoping it's a step closer to ensuring ICE and Border Patrol are funded through the end of the president's second term. Democrats were holding back on funding. They wanted reforms to those agencies. There's a big drop on the stock market today as tech sold off. The NASDAQ finishing down over 1,100 points. America is listening to Fox News.
All right, going to be back on the radio here in just a couple of minutes. Let me reactivate the YouTube on the desktop computer. See if anybody's still here, if you've gone out, if you've left to drive to Montgomery to get your gel cubes. Ben Griffin, the young Ben Griffin, looking in on the program. Richard Harvey, there he is, very crafty. $69-year-old Chris asking, when am I going to do a show from the Blue Cross country music place? I don't know what you're talking about. You mean the story they did a few weeks ago up in Chickasaw? I don't exactly know what you're talking about. Bama Big Man, they do the shows remotely. That is supposed to start up in the next 2 weeks with the software, and when I get good enough with the software, I'm hoping to do the Uncle Henry Show on location a few times in July. In fact, in July, I think Greer's is celebrating their 110th anniversary. And I'd like to do several shows from different Greers. I don't think I'm going to do the one out near your house, but you never know. Uh, 69-year-old Chris, I don't think that place is operating when I'm doing the show, but I would if they were.
This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
The Uncle Henry Show. Happy Friday to you. Tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, I'm going to be down at the Wharf in Orange Beach for 95 KSJ. There is a country and western music concert. Gary Allen and Tracy Lawrence and Diamond Rio. That concert's at 5:30 tomorrow at the Wharf in Orange Beach. I will be down at the Wharf. I think we're going to get there around 3:30, me and Shelby Mitchell of 95 KSJ. So if you're in that neighborhood, even if you're not going to the concert, stop by and say hello to us. We're going to be out by Wharf Ticket Gate number 4. You don't have to buy a ticket. If you just want to come by and say hello, we'd love to see you down there. And we're going to have a bunch of 95 KSJ stuff to hand out. So again, that is tomorrow. I'll be down there at the Wharf starting around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 251-479-2723, the telephone number. That's 251-479-2723. Email address, unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Let me get to some voicemail messages that have trickled into the Uncle Henry Show. Let's see. Here is a message from someone claiming to be Pat Nelly.
Hey, it's Pat Nelly. Hope you're having a great afternoon. Hey, listen. I got an email yesterday afternoon from Shelby telling me congratulations, I won tickets to the Mustache Band tonight.
Oh, congratulations. Mustache the Band is performing in downtown Mobile tonight at the Soul Kitchen venue.
I never heard the Mustache Band. I've heard of them, but I don't think I've ever heard them or seen any of their music videos or heard any of their music. Maybe you can fill me in. But anyway.
All right, well, I'll quickly fill you in. Mustache the Band. I think I've seen them 3 or 4 times already in the last few years. They're in Mobile once or twice a year. They play 90s country for people that love the music that was on country radio during the 1990s. They specialize in playing 90s country, and they're very good musicians, very good performers, and they have such a good time on stage. They dress up. It's almost like a party on the stage. Just a very good time if you like that kind of music. In fact, during football season, my beautiful wife and I, we stayed overnight in Meridian, Mississippi when we went to the Alabama-LSU game. And the Mustache the Band was in Meridian that night, right near the hotel, doing a concert in Meridian. People love them down here in the South.
If you see Shelby, will you tell her I appreciate her sending me tickets to the Mustache Band, which all I had to do was enter that contest on iHeartRadio. Just click enter, and then you can click enter again, and it asks you to listen to iHeartRadio, which I listen to iHeartRadio almost 24/7. So that wasn't no effort for me. But anyways, Mustache Band tonight. Tell Shelby thank you.
I will.
We're going after Miss Rhonda gets her back shaved. She's got an appointment at 5:30 to get her back shaved. So we're going to have to rush after that and go down to the Soul Kitchen to see the Mustache Band. I hope you have a great evening, great weekend, and roll tide.
Roll! Tide roll. Thank you very much for your voicemail. Someone claiming to be Pat Nelly. You'll have it. If you like 90s country, you'll have a very good time at Mustache the Band. Let's see, 251-479-2723, the telephone number to call the Uncle Henry Show. I've got another voicemail that came in today. Let me check this one.
Hey, Fred, let's me and you and Betty and Wilma go out tonight and eat a brontosaurus and go to the casino and spend all your money.
Okay, I don't think I've ever had a Barney Rubble call. So this is the first time I've ever had a Barney Rubble impression on the Uncle Henry Show. Barney Rubble. I have not seen the Flintstones in decades. Now I don't feel compelled to go see the Flintstones, but just hearing the Barney Rubble thing makes me want to watch an episode of The Honeymooners. That might be fun. All right, let me go back to the voicemail. I've got another voicemail that I want to get to before the end of this segment.
Hey, Uncle Henry, Snake Trapper. Hey, man, for some weird reason, Uncle Henry, when I pass by a roadkill,
yes,
I like to know what it was. For one reason, it kind of lets me know what's in that area. Well, I'm coming down Wolf Ridge Road, Uncle Henry, right there by Phillips Feed.
I'm pausing here just to say to the Snake Trapper, I don't know if he's listening or not, but I want to thank you. Thank you for your series of roadkill voicemails. I think this might be the third or fourth roadkill voicemail that we've received in the last couple of weeks. I have thoroughly enjoyed your roadkill reports, and I've also been educated by your roadkill voicemails. Thank you.
Wolf Ridge Road, Uncle Henry, right there by Phillips Feed, right before you get in that curve at the top of the hill.
Yes.
Uncle Henry, I see something. I'm like, what in the world is that? So I could not identify it on my first pass, I guess, because I was doing about 45, maybe 50 miles an hour. So, shoot, man, I turned around to go back and check it out, Uncle Henry.
Yes.
Man, you know what it was?
What?
It was about a 25-pound wild boar, Uncle Henry.
Oh.
Blowed my mind.
Really?
'Cause I have roamed them woods as a young man. I had no idea there were wild boar in that area. Now, I did know there are deer, turkey, coyotes, and fox. But, man, it kind of surprised me to find the carcass of a small boar. So, anybody out there in radio land has any knowledge on the wild boar in that area, man, please call the show because, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I just didn't know of any wild boar being in that area. With it being about a 25-pounder, that's telling me there's probably about 6 or 8 more, at least little ones, and got to be 2 big ones, unless somebody put them in there. But yeah, it got hit sometime in the night last night, Uncle Henry, because it appeared to have been laying there for about 8 or 10 hours. Hated to see it go to waste, man, because Lord knows I love me some pork loins, some pork chops, bacon, ham, all kind of good stuff on a hog. But yeah, man, somebody out there in radio land, let me know. You have a good day, my buddy.
Snake Trapper, thanks again for your voicemail. So you found wild boar roadkill, Wolf Ridge Road. You remind me, back when I was doing the Uncle Henry Show in the mornings, back when I was on ridiculously early in the morning, I think one of the radio shows I got more phone calls on that show than any other show I'd done was when the topic of feral hogs came up for the first time. This I don't know, 20 years ago, something like that. The phones just were ablaze with people wanting to talk about feral hogs. It is, and I don't know a lot about them other than once you get them, once they're around, hard to get rid of them. At least that's the gist of it. That's what I thought I learned from all those phone calls. Once you got them, you got them. So, Snake Trapper, now that you've seen a wild boar as roadkill, maybe you'll see more of that as the year goes by. There is more Uncle Henry Show to come. But first, traffic and weather and words from our sponsors.
It looks like traffic may be flowing better on I-110 North, approaching East Cervantes after an accident. Eastbound on the causeway from the Bankhead to Spanish Fort, it's a 15-minute drive. We did have a crash on I-10 East at Virginia Street. That was cleared. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Lisa Baque.
This report is sponsored by...
YouTube viewers, if you're still there, thank you. Let me do a check. Reactivating the desktop. Wow, okay, there's even more people watching. I wonder, is it people watching on their phones stuck in traffic? Oh, 69-year-old Chris telling me that the Flintstones are on MeTV Tunes. I have not seen a Flintstones in a many a moon. Let's see. Hello to the Love Freak 69. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that very much. Now, what can I tell you about while waiting to go back on the radio? A mother and daughter in Florida have filed a lawsuit. They claim they found worms that were moving actively. They found actively moving worms in a can of SpaghettiOs. The women claim they have suffered from parasitic infections, gastrointestinal illness, sepsis, and other bad things. And they're asking for about $75,000. So they're not asking for millions. They're asking for 70. This might be real if they're only asking for $75,000. That sounds about what a medical bill would be. So it might be real. They might have really found some type of actively moving worms in their SpaghettiOs. The company, Campbell's, that owns SpaghettiOs, they will not comment because it's pending litigation. In Bangkok, Thailand, police have arrested a security guard who they say was caught on video camera stealing from a donation box at a Buddhist temple. Now, the guard allegedly climbed over the wall and then covered his head with a cloth to conceal his identity. And for added measure, he also recited what he described was a spell to conceal himself. The spell of invisibility did not work. And the cloth didn't do much good either. Now, let's see. A man on Reddit has gone viral for building a do-it-yourself autonomous water gun turret that detects pigeons landing on his balcony and it blasts them with water. It uses a USB camera, an AI object detection model, 2 servo motors, and a battery-powered electric water gun. This guy, the government needs to hire this guy. He needs to work for the government. If he can build robot water blasters.
Station.
Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM. It is 5:50. Telephone number 251-479-2723. That's 251-479-2723. Email address unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. That's unclehenry@iheartmedia.com. Let's see. I've got some voicemail. I do want to mention a story I saw out of New York. I don't have all the details in front of me, but the Democrats up in the New York legislature have passed legislation that eliminates the words father and mother from a bunch of other key sections of state law, and has replaced the word mother with the phrase gestating parent. And the word father is being replaced with the phrase non-gestating parent. Hadn't been signed into law yet, but it's been passed, and it's waiting for the governor of New York to sign the legislation. So they're going to remove the words mother and father from their state laws that deal with child custody and all that kind of stuff. And now it's going to be gestating parent and non-gestating parent. I guess years ago this would have made me really mad. But now, because this kind of stuff has been going on for a few years now, it's starting to frighten me that we would allow this. Why are we allowing this? And why would a majority up in that state go along with this? That's what bothers me. That's what causes a little fear, is that a majority of people would go along with something like this and remove the words mother and father. Is there zero common sense up there? I mean, it's just, and why would you ever sign something like that as a governor? What do they want us to be? Instead of being human beings, it's like they don't want us to be humans anymore. They want to ignore everything about human biology and human history, and almost like we're being forced to become new species, some type of new species by these politicians. And the reason it worries me, because you've watched how the pendulum swings in this country. Is there going to be a pendulum swing where on the national level, people like this are in charge? And on the national level, they're going to try to eliminate the words father and mother? Just something to think about. I mean, this is just, I would love to sit down and have a friendly conversation with whoever is proposing this, so they could explain to me why mothers really aren't mothers and why we shouldn't use that word. Why would that word be bad? Why would the word father be bad? Are Are there words like, I mean, those words are pretty easily understood. Why would we need to change them? I'd just love to have it explained to me. That's all. Why would you change the word unless you're trying to eliminate the roles associated with the words and the purpose associated with the words? Just something to think about. These people might be in charge one day of the federal government. Just be prepared. You don't want to have to lean down to your kid and whisper to him, hey, don't call me mommy in front. That's a politician. Don't call me mommy. Don't be. Anyway, I know a weird thing to bring up on a Friday, but these lunatics. I'm glad I live in Alabama, where you can still use the word father, and you can still use the word mother, and even when they pass legalized dope laws, it takes 5 years to get them into effect, and then they'll only give you a gelatinous cube. I'm glad I live here in Alabama, and I'm not in some state where people are changing the definitions of, they don't even want the words father and mother used in state law. I'm glad that I'm here in the state of Alabama. And football, way better. Way better here. All right, there's more show to get into. In fact, after the news break, I'm going to interview a filmmaker that is admitting that he is using AI in his film projects. That's coming up after the break.
Fox.
YouTube viewers, thank you for watching. I will be here Monday at the regular time. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant tomorrow and a pleasant weekend.
On Westerners, but not just those in government or military work, but all sorts of professional employment. The report from the International Intel Consortium called Five Eyes, made up of the U.S., Canada, the U.K., Australia, and New Zealand, accuses China's agents of using professional networking platform LinkedIn to make contacts and